And let me tell you, she did not disappoint. First preseason game of the 2025 season, and Clark was out there.
What if I told you that even after losing by 64 points, a team still couldn't stop showing love and respect for one player? That's exactly what happened when Brazil's national team faced Caitlin Clark.
Everyone why she's the most talked about rookie in the league. The hype was real. Ticket prices for this preseason matchup against Brazil's national team soared to record highs, with fans shelling out an average of $440 just.
Caitlin Clark didn't just dominate the game, she left a lasting impact that had the Brazilian team in awe. Despite the massive defeat, players lined up after the game, not to vent frustration, but to ask for autographs and selfies. They were starstruck. Imagine the scene, a team humiliated on the court, but still more than willing to show admiration for the player who made them look like amateurs. It wasn't just about basketball skills, it was about the undeniable aura that Caitlin brings with her wherever she goes.
Team that played the Fever, it's the way they received her, the way they celebrated her. It's quite a contrast that these women of color from Brazil and their coach had, as opposed to the American players.
Are you ready to see Caitlin Clark continue to dominate the court? Subscribe now and join the fan club of greatness. You won't regret it. But that wasn't the whole story. Brazil's coach, who's seen it all in his decades of coaching, was floored by what he witnessed. It wasn't just a loss on the scoreboard, it was a moment of realization for him. He wasn't just facing an incredible player. He was witnessing someone who made an international impact so profound that even rival teams were compelled to respect her. To them, Caitlin wasn't just a great player. She was a force of nature. And that's something you can't teach or plan for.
You're an amazing player. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You're changing the history in basketball.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming here and playing.
Now, think about this. Caitlin Clark, with all her talent and poise, took time after the game to sign jerseys for the players who had just fought to stop her. She didn't walk off the court like a diva, but stayed behind to give the respect back to the team that gave it to her. While some players would have been caught up in their own ego, Caitlin was humble, gracious, and genuinely honored by the admiration. That's the difference between her and others in the league. But here's where it gets interesting. Angel Reese, a rising star in her own right, wasn't met with the same level of respect. In fact, after a game where she had every opportunity to make an impression, Brazil's national team didn't swarm her for pictures or autographs. There were no standing ovations, no admiration. Just the cold reality that respect isn't given, it's earned. And Caitlin, she earned it the hard way, with her play, her humility, and the undeniable influence she has on and off the court.
Someone from Brazil who isn't directly benefiting from what Caitlin Clark has done for the WNBA, why is he celebrating her more enthusiastically than the overwhelming majority of coaches, players, in the WNBA?
Brazil saw something in Caitlin Clark that many others miss, the power to change the atmosphere of a game. Her presence alone made the entire game feel different, even if the score didn't reflect it. As her peers chase recognition and debate their worth, Caitlin just keeps proving hers. The world is watching, and so is Brazil. When was the last time you saw a coach, after decades of basketball experience, practically bow down to a player? That's exactly what happened when Brazil's coach witnessed Caitlin Clark's performance.
But it takes a coach from Brazil, and it takes players from Brazil to show Caitlin Clark the kind of appreciation and respect that her play and what she's brought to the table deserves. I'm not saying these guys in the WNBA should kiss Caitlin Clark's butt.
Caitlin Clark didn't just play basketball, she changed the game in real time. Brazil's coach, a man who's seen it all, could barely hold his composure. He wasn't throwing out empty praise or typical coach speak. No, he was in awe, almost reverent. He didn't just say she was good, he compared her to a mythical figure, a legend beyond the ordinary. Imagine a coach who's seen countless stars, now shaking his head, lost for words, because what he saw that night was something that left even him speechless. But it didn't stop there. His praise wasn't just "she's a great player" chatter. He elevated Clark's performance to something larger than basketball. He likened her to a basketball god, a force of nature that didn't belong to the realm of normal players. To see this kind of respect from a coach who's been around the block for decades, that's something rare. And that level of recognition isn't handed out every day. And what happens next will leave you wondering, why hasn't this level of respect been shown to other stars in the league? Because Caitlin didn't just earn respect from Brazil's coach, she earned it the way legends do. By showing up, dominating, and leaving the court with not just a win, but a legacy. A legacy so big, it made even seasoned coaches reconsider the standards they were used to. It's no wonder then that even after the game, Brazil's coach, still recovering from the shock of what he had just seen, couldn't stop talking about her. While some players wait for recognition, Caitlin just takes it. She doesn't demand respect, she earns it, effortlessly, naturally, and undeniably.
Cece, one word to describe today.
Only one word. Unreal. That's fire. Honestly, unreal.
After dominating the court and leading her team to victory, Caitlin Clark could have easily walked off with her head held high, basking in the win. But that's not what happened. Instead, she stayed behind, while the opposing team, Brazil's national squad, was still reeling from the loss, and did something few superstars would have bothered with. Clark took the time to sign jerseys for the Brazilian players. Now, think about that for a second. After a crushing defeat by 64 points, most players would be quick to exit the arena, their focus already shifting to the next challenge. But not Caitlin. She stayed, signing jerseys with grace and humility, turning what could have been a cold, uncomfortable moment into a monumental one. But that wasn't the whole story. The Brazilian players, still overwhelmed by her presence and her performance, lined up eagerly, like fans at a concert, asking for her autograph. It wasn't just a signature, it was a symbol of respect, one they knew would carry weight long after the game ended. This wasn't just a regular post-game gesture, it was a moment that solidified Caitlin's legacy, showing that her influence goes far beyond the scoreboard.
Is off with Queiroz. Here comes Clark. Down the floor. Touchdown. Clark to Bonner.
Now, picture this. While Caitlin was making this powerful, lasting impression, her peers, who might have demanded their own respect, were nowhere near this level of class and humility. No one was lining up for their autographs. No one was asking to take pictures. Caitlin, on the other hand, was giving back, not for the cameras, but because it was simply the right thing to do. And as we reflect on what happened next, it's clear that Caitlin's gesture wasn't just about signing jerseys, it was about something bigger. It was about setting herself apart from the rest. While some players fight for recognition, Caitlin earns it. And that night, she showed the Brazilian team, the fans, and everyone watching just what true greatness looks like. Have you ever seen a player so dominant that no matter how many defensive strategies the opposing team throws at her, they still can't stop her? That's exactly what happened when Caitlin Clark took the court against Brazil's national team. From the very first minute, it was clear that Brazil's defense had no answers. They threw everything they had at Clark, double teams, traps, even switching defenders mid-play. Nothing worked. She danced around them like they weren't even there, effortlessly hitting shots from anywhere on the court. It wasn't just her shooting, it was her ability to read the game, her vision, her decision-making, all of it combined into a performance that left Brazil's defense scrambling for solutions they didn't have. But that wasn't the whole story. Even as the Brazilian team shifted tactics, adjusting their lineup and playing with more aggression, Clark continued to execute with surgical precision. It was like they were trying to catch smoke with their bare hand. Nothing they did could contain her. The harder they tried, the more Caitlin made them look foolish, showcasing a level of skill that not only outclassed them but left them questioning if they were even on the same playing field. And what happened next would shock everyone. Instead of getting frustrated or making mistakes under pressure, Clark thrived. She embraced the challenge, using the defense's desperation to her advantage. Each move was calculated, and with every made shot, it became more evident that she wasn't just playing a game, she was rewriting the rules. As the game wore on, it became clear, Caitlin Clark was in a league of her own. While Brazil fought hard, they simply couldn't keep up. Every time they thought they had her figured out, she'd make a play that reminded everyone why she's one of the best in the world. And that, my friends, is what true dominance looks like. When the defense doesn't just fail to stop you, it fuels your brilliance. It's one thing to be a star on the court. It's another to earn the kind of respect that transcends the game itself. Caitlin Clark did just that, while her rival, Angel Reese, fell short in comparison. While Clark was lighting up the court, the Brazilian national team, still stunned by her performance, showed nothing but admiration. They didn't just acknowledge her talent, they revered her. After the game, they lined up for autographs, eager to capture a moment with the player who had single-handedly turned the game upside down. That's respect that can't be bought, it has to be earned. And Caitlin earned it, not through bravado, but through humility and sheer skill. But here's the kicker, Angel Reese, despite all the talk and self-promotion, didn't get that same level of respect. No one was rushing to take pictures with her. No one was lining up for her autograph. Instead, Reese spent her time in a social media frenzy, trying to force recognition where it wasn't earned. She demanded respect, but Caitlin Clark let her game do all the talking, and the world listened. And what happened next would shock everyone. While Reese was busy stirring the pot online, Clark was continuing to elevate the sport, gaining international recognition for her talent and humble persona. Fans from around the world weren't just admiring her skills, they were in awe of the way she handled herself. Caitlin didn't need to force the spotlight. It naturally gravitated toward her because she had earned it, on and off the court. So, let's be clear, Clark's international recognition didn't come from flashy social media posts or constant self-promotion. It came from a quiet, unstoppable dominance that left players and fans alike in awe. In contrast, Reese is still trying to demand the respect Caitlin effortlessly earned. Have you ever seen a team so overwhelmed by one player's skill that they start mimicking her moves in real time? Well, that's exactly what happened when Brazil's national team faced Caitlin Clark. During warm-ups, the Brazilian players couldn't help themselves. They began copying Clark's signature shooting style. They were so entranced by her game that they tried to replicate her every move. Each shot they took an imitation of the master they were about to face. It's not every day that you see a team so enamored with an opponent that they look like they're auditioning to be part of her highlight reel. But that's the effect Caitlin Clark had on them. After the game, it wasn't just about the usual handshakes and polite nod. No, Brazil's players crowded around Caitlin, phones in hand, asking for selfies. Imagine that, after getting dominated on the court, the opposing team was lining up to take pictures with the very player who made them look like amateurs. It wasn't just about the game anymore, it was about respecting greatness. But here's the real kicker. Brazil wasn't the only one taken by Caitlin's power. It was her presence, her confidence, and the way she carried herself both on and off the court that left everyone, from players to fans, in awe. While other players scrambled for recognition, Caitlin's game spoke for itself, and everyone else, including Brazil, listened. And as for those who need to demand respect, well, it's clear who the true superstar is. Caitlin Clark doesn't ask for it, she commands it. While some players are busy trying to carve out their own spotlight, Caitlin Clark is too busy creating moments that will echo in basketball history for years to come. Angel Reese may be obsessed with self-promotion, but Caitlin doesn't need the noise. She lets her game do the talking. While Reese might be launching Twitter battles and media spin, Caitlin's on the court, shifting the entire energy of the game. Every time she steps on the floor, something magical happens. The crowd feels it. The defenders feel it. Even her teammates feel it. It's like the entire game tilts in her favor, and everyone else is left trying to catch up. But that wasn't the whole story. Clark doesn't just play the game, she redefines it. She changes the atmosphere with every dribble, every pass, every shot. While some players need to fight for relevance, Caitlin just is relevant. She commands the room, elevates the competition, and leaves a legacy with every single play. And what happened next would shock everyone. Rather than clamor for attention, Caitlin quietly, effortlessly dominated. Her focus remained on greatness, and the moments she created on the court became proof of why she's a true icon in the making. While others chase followers and likes, Caitlin Clark is making history with every game she plays. So while Reese plays the media game, Caitlin Clark is making sure the game remembers her name. And that's the difference. One is trying to force attention, the other is naturally earning it with her unparalleled skill and poise. While some players are fighting for attention, Caitlin Clark is quietly building a legacy that demands it. The contrast between her international popularity and Reese's attempts to force recognition is striking, and it couldn't be more obvious on the court. Caitlin Clark's talent speaks for itself. Every time she plays, standing ovations follow her. Fans from across the world, whether it's in the US, Europe, or beyond, are on their feet, applauding her performances. Her impact isn't just felt on the court, but in the hearts of fans everywhere. It's not about self-promotion or headline, it's about authentic greatness, and it's no surprise that the world can't get enough of her. But that wasn't the whole story. While Clark earns admiration through her play, Reese continues to struggle for validation in the spotlight. The difference is night and day. Caitlin Clark commands attention with her skill, while Reese is still trying to manufacture it. Every shot Clark makes is a statement. Every game she plays feels like a chapter in her inevitable rise to global stardom. Meanwhile, Reese is left fighting for relevancy, leaning on social media and personal drama to get noticed. And what happened next would shock everyone. As Clark's accolades pile up, Reese's attempts at attention fall flat. The world's eyes are on Caitlyn, not because she's forcing herself into the conversation, but because she's been rewriting the narrative with every game. When you're truly great, the applause follows you. So here's the truth. While Angel Reese is scrambling to grab a piece of the spotlight, Caitlyn Clark is owning it, effortlessly. She doesn't need to scream for attention. Her play speaks louder than words ever could. Thanks for tuning in and catching the incredible rise of Caitlyn Clark. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the latest updates. Join us as we continue to follow her journey to greatness. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.